let's talk about the sacred cycle. So the sacred cycle is probably as old as the sun itself and is something that you're going to find in most, if not all, spiritual systems or traditions that you may be looking into. So long before we had calendars or clocks, we had the wheel, just this turning of the seasons, this dance of light and dark, of becoming and undoing, death and rebirth, basically the breath of earth, this natural flow of things. And this has been wrapped up in many modern bows. In Druidry, the one that we use is the Wheel of the Year, and that's this 8 sacred festivals. They mark the rhythm of life. Now, I have a full video on my YouTube, if you're interested, that will go more in depth about using this as a system of transformation. You know, for me personally, these aren't just dates I observed like holidays. I know some people do that. For me, this is a map of transformation. It's a mirror of your own beginning and a valuable tool in path working. So each point on the wheel has multiple lessons to teach us, and you can actually do different versions of the seasons, different aspects of the seasons based on what you're trying to achieve, right? As I mentioned in the fuller course, this is something we can do on an annual basis for bigger things. However, the sun rises and falls every day. This cycle is present. We are constantly in this cycle. And so for like recovery, for example, we have a certain, with the steps, there's a certain routine that you are asked or suggested that you adopt. And it just so happens that one day I realized that it aligns very well with what I was doing annually with the Wheel of the Year. So there are a lot of ways to incorporate this into your practice, your life, just as a person. So there are a few basic things that you'll need to do if you want to work within the system. One is to get familiar with the turnings, the checkpoints. So the 8-fold Wheel of the Year gives us 8 checkpoints to use. So that's the first thing you can do. The second thing that I always suggest is to personalize it. So find out, you know, you're going to get a lot of like canned symbolism and stuff like that. That's a good starting place, but the symbolism needs to deeply resonate with you to work. And so I always suggest to personalize your symbolism. This isn't a straight line, it's a spiral, right? So we do observe certain things at certain times in the annual or daily cycles. However, these cycles are present situationally, so it's not always going to happen in the linear line in a perfect way. It may be a spiral, it may be, I don't know, a bar. Sometimes it's chaos, but understanding the different points and being able to identify where you are in the cycle and work with it is a valuable tool. So every time you walk this path, the spiral path, and every time you complete a beginning to end cycle of this, I believe that you are returning to yourself a little bit wiser, a little bit deeper, a little bit more whole, more integrated. And that's the sacred cycle. Lots I can say on it. This has been a long video. Thanks for sticking with me. I hope you got something out of this.